Muslim anafikiria ni kupata mali neema.
With the best of khatibs.
We tasted the pleasure, the sweetness of ibadah, because the Prophet ﷺ said,
there are no times that can be equal to these days except maybe.
Tune in to Horizon TV and watch Friday khutbahs from different masajid every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m.
الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده العالمين نذيرا.
Ni kitabu.
Qur'ani ni kitabu ambacho cha hazikule kato moja kutunga kitabu kama dawa zimetumia ambazo kuandika au katika kusema kusokwa na khazain zote za ardhi na samawati ziko mikononi mwake.
Badamana na uchambuzi wa Qur'an Hamisi usiku kwenye Horizon TV.
Wanashitati watakaowafisha nyinyi ni malaika wa
kiumbe dhaifu lakini jasiri.
Alitunukiwa sura nzima,
sura inayompa daraja yake inavyostahiki. Sharti ajigambe.
Naam, na pepo ipo chini ya nyayo zake.
Mpamba nyumba na nyoyo za wapendwa wake.
anayebeba majukumu yake pasina kupinga.
Mtazamaji, je, unamfahamu anayezungumziwa?
Bila ya kusahau hadhi yake na haki zake.
Ungana nami Rahma Swaleh na Sheikh Juma Amir
tukuelimishe na kukupa mwelekeo katika maisha ya ndoa
kwenye kipindi Dira ya Mwanamke,
kila Jumapili saa 2:30 usiku majira ya Afrika Mashariki ndani ya Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show, only on Horizon TV. Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. Welcome to the round table with me, Aisha Khan. Of course, where we discuss very thorny and pertinent issues. But as is the norm of Horizon TV, we start with the newspaper review. And I can't do this alone. I am with Said Kuria, political analyst, and Kigen. Welcome to the show. How are you guys doing today?
Shukran. Salaam.
Amazing. Now, looking at the Star, is 66% unsure Uhuru will back Ruto poll. 40% support William Ruto for president. 16% back Raila Odinga, while 25% are undecided. Yes, the hustlers nation. I'll come to you, Said. What do you have to say about this? What does it say? What does it symbolize for Ruto?
Of course, the splash says that 16% are still unsure whether the president will support William Ruto. And the background of this has come from what president used to say previous to 2017 elections. He usually said that zake ni 10 na za William ni 10. So people thought that even after elections he'll continue with the mantra of zake 10 na William ni 10. But things have changed, and the way president is behaving it seems they have fallen out with his deputy, because most of the times when he goes, especially when he goes to Central Kenya, his backyard, he reprimands the MP who are allied to deputy president. And this is largely seen, especially after political events, especially what happened in Bomas. Like, was it which day? The day he was in Kiambu, when he spoke in his mother tongue, and of course reprimanded the MP who are saying that there be no referendum, the best thing to do is to take this BBI to parliament so that we can save taxpayers' money. And we understand that the people who are championing this are the people who are, of course, on the side of Deputy President William Ruto. And we can also see that 40% of Kenyans are supporting the Deputy President, and especially he is the man to beat. He is the leading candidate if elections are ahead today. And we still have another 25%. So that means that is that is good news to Hustler Nation, and that is good news to William Ruto, because it means if at least for now he has 40%, he only needs 10% plus 1 vote to make sure that he gets to State House. And this is not impossible, because we have 3 years to elections. That is...
So a lot can change.
A lot can change. And of course, being the savvy politician he is, being astute leader he is, it is difficult for him to lose ground. I am very confident and I'm very optimistic. He retained that 40%. And the person who is trailing him, and of course the person who expected to compete with him come 2022 elections, has 25%, has 16%. That means the candidate who is behind him... And
25 are undecided.
And 25 are undecided. That means 16%, he has a lot of work to do, because 40 minus 16, that is 24 percentage points. 24 percentage points to gain in politics is not an easy task. Bearing in mind you are competing with a person who is very energetic, who is moving around the country every now and then, and who Kenyans view as their representation. And I explain why this has happened. If you look at Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the people who have been at the helm of the leadership, they are largely seen by the most Kenyans as if they have come from families that are well established. They have come from which people call dynasties. And if you look at Ruto, it is someone who has schooled in schools where many Kenyans have schooled. Same primary schools with majority of Kenyans, same high schools with majority of Kenyans, same universities with majority of Kenyans, that is the University of Nairobi. And even his kids, surprisingly, he has money even to take his kids overseas. But surprisingly, he takes them in local universities. That has given even Kenyans confidence that this man has confidence in our systems. And by the way, I'm not saying that he is automatic candidate that will win elections, but I'm saying that his competitors have to up their game, and they have a very heavy task, because the person they are competing with is not asleep. He is working towards consolidating his base. And we have seen onslaught. Recently, you have seen onslaught from these established political families, Moi family, Kenyatta family, Odinga family, trying to take this support from him, because they know the truth. These people have intelligence. They have people on the ground. They are telling them that this person is strong. So they are trying to take to steal the show from him, and it won't be easy.
Okay, we're going to wait and watch. Kigan, what do you have to say about this?
First and foremost, Aisha, thank you for having me today. It's a beautiful Friday, mashallah. I think in this issue of whether Uhuru will back Ruto or back Raila and the people who are undecided, from me, I look at it this way. I think what really matters is the strength and the magnitude of the support of Uhuru Kenyatta, let alone the state machinery. When it comes to 2022, will Uhuru Kenyatta tell his people from Mount Kenya, vote for this person, and the people will follow onslaught? I mean, what matters really is really the weight of that support. Because we saw in 2002, retired President Moi supported Uhuru Kenyatta. And then people, even some people from Rift Valley, voted for Mwai Kibaki.
Okay.
You know, and now it comes to, again, what is the weight of the support? Because as things looks the way they are, it's like the Deputy President William Ruto, you know, has stolen a chunk of Mount Kenya votes from and support from the president. And this is, you know, this is evident from the number of MPs, you know, who are chanting Ruto's name together with the support of the people. So I think that should really, that is a big conversation to have. And also another thing is that, you know, we have, as Saida said, that it seems like Uhuru and Ruto are not on the same page. And I don't think it seems. I mean, it's vividly clear that these people are not sitting, because if you've been following the events clearly, just even from social media, you've seen the gestures, let alone the words that have been thrown indirectly to people through some people. It shows you that these people are not sitting on the same page. And he has also touched on the issue of when he went to Kiambu to open a hospital that was built by the Japanese embassy worth 8 million. And yesterday, and of late, a hashtag has been running, #ConfusedPresident. I'm not sure about that. But most of the people in the hashtag on Twitter have been saying how 10 billion was used to create a 156 page of BBI. And he went ahead and opened a hospital worth 8 million, you know, built by the Japanese embassy, not even the Kenyan government. So it's getting a bit tricky. But I think I must say I'm disappointed in the president of late.
Okay. Because
I think Tanga has been able to absorb the president in these talks of 2022 and the politics of the country, which the president really in his second term shouldn't be playing. But I think he has been absorbed. And I think the president has been so naive of late. Because you look at it this way, the president is, if you look at all these politics, you know, and even some unhealthy conversations and speeches being thrown around, it's like the president, you know, is the chief anchor of all these conversations. It's like he's the one who's driving these conversations. I mean, he himself is the one who even created the word tanga. You know, when was the last time our president talked about the economy? When was the last time, has the president even mentioned the issue of floods that is happening in our country and the epidemics that we are having, the mud floods? I mean, I am disappointed. Every day it's this, it's just speeches, it's these people, they have done this, they have done this. I mean, if, to the best of my knowledge, the president is the boss, you know, he's the jefe. What he should do is sit to State House, summon these people, talk, come to an understanding, and run smoothly. He's the boss.
He's the commander-in-chief.
And to what Keegan has said, between 1963 and 1978, we talk about Kenyatta presidency. We don't talk about Moi as a vice president. We don't talk of Jaramogi as a vice president. We don't talk of the people who are vice presidents under Kenyatta. Between 1978 and 2002, we talk of Moi presidency. We don't talk of Saitoti. We don't talk of Kibaki as vice president of Moi. We talk only of Moi presidency. Between 2002 and 2013, we talk of Kibaki presidency. We don't remember Mudi Awori. Neither we do remember Kijana Wamalo, the one who died in office. So Uhuru should be very careful. Between 2013 and 2022, people will be talking of Kenyatta presidency. So if he fails, we will be talking about Uhuru Kenyatta's mistakes. People will not blame Ruto. You know, some people are trying to say that no, between 2013 and 2017, it is Uhuru and Ruto who are ruling the country. People will not remember Ruto because they know the buck stops with the president. And he is a person who is supposed to give directions. If you see maybe your deputy has gone astray, you are the person who is responsible of bringing him bringing him home so that you can deliver for people. And in that case, Uhuru should not find scapegoats. By the way, it is very unusual for president to keep complaining. If president complains, what will happen to the common man in the streets?
what will happen
to a complaining nation.
It will be a complaining nation. So he is a person who is supposed to give solutions. The nation has bestowed him with leadership because they think he is the most intelligent person in giving solutions to problems bedeviling society. He is a person who has magic word to solve Kenyan problems. So that is an honor that has been given to him. So if he appears weak, the nation will be weak. If he appears helpless, the nation will appear helpless. So it is high time he puts his house in order, not to continue crying in public or complaining in public.
I think that has been hard, yes.
Solve his problems.
That has been hard side.
Yes.
Now, looking at the Daily Nation, you find, why Uhuru is troubled and angry. Just that you're saying the president is very angry, he's troubled, he's complaining. That the president is outrightly facing a rebellion in his Mount Kenya backyard is now clear, as the bulk of Jubilee MPs who supported him appear to have switched loyalties. Now, the strong love between Uhuru and Ruto is dying. Keegan.
Yes,
very briefly,
the love is dying. And I don't
happened?
think a lot of things happened. Some people were aggrieved by different things that have been happening. And I think Uhuru got into the marriage, with Ruto without really understanding who Ruto is. Because Ruto seems to be that person whom you cannot really when he sticks to the plan, and when you don't stick to the plan that you guys had, things go haywire. And when things go haywire, he now seems to be very stubborn, and indeed comes to take your portions as it is happening. But I think the president should not really be obsessed with still his Mount Kenya backyard. I mean, he is the president. He is the whole country. I think he should work around, just having the love and support of all the Kenyans. I mean, not really sticking to your own place. Let everybody love you in the country. But again, I want to insist. Even now today, if you look at the headline, on the Business Daily, it says that rich Kenyans are sitting on 1.4 trillion. They cannot invest because the economy is bad.
Imagine.
I want to see my president talk about the failing economy, talk about the retrenchments, not always about this cheap politics, and unhealthy talks.
There are bigger issues to be discussed.
He should
now we'll be
inspire
taking...
us.
Amazing, thank you. Said will come back. We have to take a short break. We'll be taking a short break and we'll be right back. Remember, you can follow us on social media. That is at Horizontv Kenya on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. La kutafakari.
Wale watu wanaoonyesha uzuri wao katika vifaa na mambo mbalimbali, katika vifaa vya simu mbalimbali, watu wanaonyesha uzuri pale. Batal alladhi yudhhir أو تلك المرأة التي تظهر زينتها في مثل هذه الوسائل, yule mwanamke anayepeleka na kusambaza uzuri wake na maumbile yake katika vifaa kama hivi, mbali na kwamba ni haram, huyu mwanamke ni batal, jobless, hana kazi, hajui lengo la maisha ni nini. Wale wanaume wanaofanya mambo ya upuzi kama haya na kutafuta mambo ya upuzi kama haya katika Snapchat na katika Instagram na katika wapi na aingie kwenye Facebook masaa 2, 3, 4, hadha batal, jobless, hana kazi, hajui lengo la maisha, kuna lengo gani katika maisha, hajui kuna kusimama mbele ya baina yada ila azza wa jalla, hajui kuna kuingia katika kaburi, hajui kabla ya hapo kuna malakul maut, hajui kuna mizan.
La kutafakari.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show only on Horizon TV.
Welcome back to the show. Now we are coming to you live from the heart of the city center. This is Horizon TV, the premier Islamic station. Keegan, you had just brought up something from the Business Daily. That's the headline now. Wealthy Kenyans sitting on 1.4 trillion cash pile. Slow down farms and rich individuals keep money in banks on reduced investment opportunities. Now, the government promised to give youth employment. In relation to this, what does this mean?
I mean, this is very, very unfortunate that wealthy Kenyans are sitting on such kind of money. And you know, when people are 1.4 trillion is not a joke.
It's true.
You know, this is half of our budget.
Yeah.
You know, and when some people are sitting on such kind of money and they are not investing in Kenya, the number one thing they are thinking is investing this money outside Kenya. And what has motivated them to start thinking of investing this money outside Kenya?
Yeah.
Maybe outside Kenya, there are better opportunities. There is a better enabling environment to do business. And that begs the question, maybe we are not doing that in our country.
Yeah.
You know, I've always complained about the taxation in this country. You know, and also the way we are operating. You know, also if you've seen of late, Kenyans don't have money in their pockets, you know, and that has been brought by the way we've had, you know, suppliers haven't been paid by the government, so we are having this backlog and ripple effect, you know, of dryness, you know, in the economy, so to speak. And all these matters, you find that Kenya right now is so pressed in repaying loans in that it's operating, you know, on a frustration mode, and that's why you're seeing issues like the truck drivers, you know, and the truck businesses from Mombasa to Nairobi. They are complaining that you know, what happened with SGR and the carrying of cargo. And such kind of things are what investors are checking out. Because if I was to invest on a truck business, maybe put in 100 billion, I can't do that right now. Why? Because the government is frustrating people.
Okay.
Even if I'm supposed to invest in another field, I'll be like, wait, maybe the government can also come and do this in this side. So why should I invest? So these are the things that we are supposed to check. And it's very unfortunate. And I think that the government needs to do something around that. I think I have to give, you know, credit to Dr. Ukur Yatani, Ambassador Ukur Yatani, on what he has been doing since he came on Treasury. You know, the quick payment they've given orders to pay suppliers and such kind of things. And I think he should deliberate on that issue and come out with a solution.
Amazing. Korea, what do you have to say about this? We have money, the rich have money, but they're not willing to invest in any project.
In fact, the most ironical thing in all this is that people who are even hiding this money are the same people who are ruining our economy, because majority, I'm saying majority of these politicians who are in power are the same people who are billionaires and trillionaires. They are the people who are keeping this money. Because if you talk of successful businessmen, it is very hard in Kenya to succeed as a businessman if you not attach yourself to the ruling political class. These people work hand in hand. If you are not in politics, you are financing elections. Some even finance both groups, both sides, which are likely to win, so that in case if one wins, they attach to that side, and they continue, of course, pushing policies that will favor their businesses so that they can continue with the state capture. So what I'm saying, as Keegan has said, it is very sad that even the president of the country, who is in charge of everything, who is in charge of our economy, cannot see this. He is talking of things that are not of priority and which Kenyans are not seeing as priority. If you look recently, there was a hashtag that was running in Twitter named Confused President. Why are Kenyans reaching to this extent? It is because they seem their president has no clue, cannot realize Kenyans are suffering, cannot realize that they need good hospitals, cannot realize they need good schools, cannot realize they need good roads to move their produce where there is produce, cannot realize that farming communities, even from where he comes from, are tired, they want good prices for their produce. And he is continuing with politicking, saying that he wants this and this to pass. He has BBI. And by the way, to be sincere, majority of Kenyans are not concerned with what is in BBI.
Because now Kenyans have reached to a point where they are used to laws. They have realized that some of these laws don't make impact. They are just there. Beautiful in paper,
what is the
but
solution?
policy in practice.
Yeah.
So the solution is that the people in charge of the economy should not deviate to things that are not unimportant to Kenyans. They should fix economy. And by the way, you have seen in history, you have seen economies which were crumbling being fixed. So it is. We don't need a miracle. We just need visionary and pragmatic leadership, which we lack currently.
I think just to mention one thing, one of the another thing also that is causing this backlog of cash that we are having sitting with the rich people, is that in every 5 years in Kenya, only 3 years are operational.
Okay.
Because 2 years in those 5 years they are not operational. One of the years is before the electioneering period, and the other one is just after the electioneering period. You find that even when somebody wants to buy land and set up something, in 2021, you'll tell you, wait first, let us finish the election first, then we'll see those things. If you want a job and you ask somebody, they tell you, wait first, wacha tumalize maneno ya election, alafu tutaona hiyo maneno ya kazi. And then after the electioneering period, if things are not well, remember what we were experiencing in 2017, where we had 2 elections and we had series of maandamanos and chaos where people are not doing businesses. So that also there is a lot of insecurity and a lot of the business unpredictability, so to speak, where the business people are not assured if their businesses will be there, if they will if they'll have returns. So I think it starts with the president. If the president should start inspiring these people and also external investors, foreign investors, and tell them that things will be okay. Even if I'm leaving office, trust me, we'll have continuity, things will be okay. It starts with as simple as inspiring people. It starts with the message, with the mood that you're inspiring people with.
Okay, amazing. Now moving on to the next story on the Standard, page 2, home submerged, cars swept away by floods in Kamulu. Deaths, destruction and displacements reported as flooding from ongoing rains continue in different parts of the country. Now, this same year, where we had drought, now there's continuing of floods. Why aren't we as Kenyans learning? What are we waiting for? Cars are going. People are dying, but we are still there, very unready.
In fact, it is not only in Kamulu, it is everywhere.
Yeah.
In all towns.
Countrywide.
People are swimming to hospitals, to schools. People are swimming inside their houses. So people are swimming everywhere.
Yeah.
We are afraid we may even swim here. But we pray God that doesn't happen. But I'm saying people are swimming everywhere. And by the way, instead of leaders solving these urgent issues that are bedeviling their people, they are resorting to sideshows. Instead of the president giving leadership, because he is a person at the top, he is the person who is supposed to give leadership. He is talking of things that are not of priority. People are making jokes that president has gone to launch a 8 million dispensary, yet he has used 10 billion in a report, 156 page report, which we are unsure will be implemented, or which we are unsure whether will even help Kenyans, because already we have divisions, yet you are told that this document is supposed to unite Kenyans. But do we have a document, or do we have a plan which will help curb these issues? Because it is very irresponsible to have floods this year, next year, but two, because if things happens once, you should plan on how this thing will not happen tomorrow. Because of course, you have plans. But it seems politicians only think about themselves, and they only think about next elections. They don't think about next disaster. And when we talk of disasters, these disasters are not bringing problems to animals or to people elsewhere. They are bringing problems to Kenyans. And they are people they are representing. And I insist that we voted for them to give solutions, and they are not giving solutions. It is very sad. In counties, it is the same thing. Even in city, it is the same thing. And this city, president county governor, MCAs, MPs, they use this city. Majority of them have residential houses in this city. Even those governors who are outside Nairobi, they have residential, but they don't care. It is as if they don't. They are destroying the country. Then after destroying the country, they will run elsewhere, which I don't.
Keegan, I can see you're laughing here. What do you have to say about this? When will we ever learn?
Korea is is always on a political note. But on this issue, number one, when people are told not to build on riparian land, they think that people are attacking them, and they think that tunaonewa. That's what many people say, or we are being targeted. That's what people say, in a typical circumstance. And when you are told by the authorities that this is riparian land, don't build on this land, they are not stupid. They have assessed every angle, of any epidemic that might come. So listen to them and kindly follow the instructions that we are given. If you look at some of the, not just here in Kamulu, if you look at most of the areas in Mombasa, some areas in South Sea, you look at many areas all over the country where typically it's riparian land, and these people built here. And when you are told, you think that they are targeting you, it's for your own safety. Because these people have assessed from where they are. These people are technocrats. So when they tell you, I like to appeal to Kenyans, please listen to them and follow. Number two, I don't know whether Kenyans are so frustrated by problems of this country that sometimes they think in an absurd way, or what is wrong. You see a V8 passing through some water, and it has gone through. And you have a Vitz. And you want to follow suit. And you've seen, the height of the water. And I don't know what makes people to follow that way. Or you reach another point and you say, my car is going to pass here. Wait, let's see. I mean, what is wrong with you? Please, Kenyans, let's be reasonable. Because most of the photos you'll see and some of the videos you'll see, it's pure and people are not reasonable. You want to cross a river, you've seen the amount of force and strength that the water is moving on, and you want to cross with your car. So Kenyans, please, let's be unreasonable, life above everything.
And I want to correct my friend here. For example, you see your child going to take poison. Then you tell him, don't take that poison. Then after taking poison, and after death of your child, you start telling people, I told this kid not to take poison. But now, because he has taken poison, let him face the consequences. Government has capacity to enforce rules. If it is not enough to tell people not to build on riparian land, you can enforce rules and prevent people. That is why you have police. That is why county government has a force which they can use, or has a county askaris, and they can use these people to enforce rules, to ensure people don't build on riparian land. That is why back stops with the authorities. Because as Korea,
very passionate,
or as Korea, or as Keegan, we don't have capacity to enforce rules because we have not been given that authority. But we have given authority to the president, who is commander-in-chief and who holds sway to all forces that enforce rules in this country. So he can ensure that these rules are followed. But because some of them are guilty of even building on these riparian lands. They are leaders, but they are gone ahead, and in fact, they are people who are setting a bad example by building on this riparian land. They cannot talk of these things. Majority of leaders, we know of leaders who have built their houses and even businesses on these riparian lands. So they are silent on these issues. That is why Kenyans are copying them. Because they lack moral authority to tell Kenyans not to build on riparian land. Or they lack moral authority to tell the forces that are responsible in ensuring this is followed, to tell Kenyans not to build on this riparian land. So we cannot exonerate government. The buck stops with the government.
Keegan wants to respond to that very quickly.
There are circumstances, where, as he has said, I can't dispute. Of course, the government has, the ability to enforce laws, and we've seen the government doing that, and especially the county government of Nairobi doing that, particularly through Sonko, where some houses have been demolished that have been built on riparian land. And I think it was a very good move, because if you've passed through where South End Mall used to be, and you've seen, you know, the amount of water passing through that area, maybe we would be having an epidemic through around that time. And so we've also seen a lot of fights, you know, with the county government of Nairobi, with particularly, you know, Sonko spearheading the process of the demolishing, you know, buildings and structures that have been put on riparian land. And he has been given a good share, you know, of fights, you know, and bad mouthing, you know, concerning that. And I think we have seen through this period the effects of building on riparian land, you know, the loss of property, the loss of lives. And so I think Sonko should come back and do what he was doing, and also all governors should follow suit, as well as the national government.
Amazing. Now, moving on to another story. On page 3 of the Standard, we have Navy's first woman to steer a warship. When she failed to be enrolled to study medicine, her dream career shifted for focus to the military. An amazing story. But before we come to discuss this, you know, let's take a short break. We'll be taking a short break and we'll be right back. Remember, you can follow us on social media. That is at Horizontv Kenya on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Ninasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam.
Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu aliyemfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
Thabbit qulubana ala dinik wa ala ta'atik.
Ungana na mashekh wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo.
I'm a Muslim. If there is something wrong with that, then I stand condemned.
Allahu Akbar. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
My religion is Islam. I believe in Allah. I believe in Muhammad as the apostle of Allah. I believe in brotherhood of all men.
La kutafakari.
Ahibati fillah, mwanadamu hatakani kumuonesha mtu mgonjwa kwamba amechoka naye. Yeye hakujitakia maradhi. Sawa, awe ni mzazi wako, awe ni ndugu yako, awe ni mke wako, yeye mwenyewe hana raha kwamba ni mgonjwa. Kisha mtu aja kumuonesha kwamba wewe uko hivi, wewe uko hivi. Kwani ndio yeye alituma application kwa Mwenyezi Mungu akasema nataka kuwa mgonjwa? Tayari ana dhiki. Usiwe ni sababu ya kumuongezea maradhi na dhiki katika maisha yake. Sheitani tayari amtia waswasi, amuonesha kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu hakupendi, Mwenyezi Mungu amekutupa, si wewe ndio ulikuwa ukiswali, si wewe ndio ulikuwa ukitoa sadaka, leo Mwenyezi Mungu amekuacha patupu. Sheitani tayari yomshawishi, kisha aja mwanadamu aja kumuonesha kwamba mimi nimechoka na wewe siwezi kukuhudumia. Ahibati fillah, ni khasara. Ni khasara iwe ni wewe ni chanzo cha kumsaidia sheitani amshinde ndugu yako nguvu.
La kutafakari.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Now, we're coming to you live from the heart of the city center. This is Horizon TV, the premier Islamic station. And to a very interesting topic here. We have on the Standard, page 3, Navy's first woman to steer a warship, okay? When she failed to be enrolled to study medicine, her dream career, she shifted her focus to the military. Very interesting. In this day and age, you know, just because she's a woman, it's highlighted like this, you know. Like, do you feel that women are so empowered that now it's becoming a challenge between the men and the women? Yes. No, that's a very sarcastic laugh, but I'll come to you. Yes, Korea.
It is new to some, but it is not used to me. In Second World War,
Yes.
women participated in war.
Yes.
They were in industries making these ships, not even steering. Steering
Okay.
is simple.
Okay, why is this such a big deal that it's making to the papers?
Of course, I want to give an example. It is because, you know, when we say, in journalism, we say when a dog bites a man, it is not news, and when the other way around, when it happens the other way around, it is news. I think in Kenya it is news, but I want to give women encouragement.
Yeah.
If you have a passion of steering a ship, go ahead and steer a ship. Because I give example, and I want to give this example. I give example of Second World War. Of course, in Britain, in United States of America,
Yes.
in other countries that were supporting Allied powers,
Yes.
women were being involved in different areas in war. They were steering warships.
Okay.
Some were working in industries making
Yes.
airplanes.
Said that's very interesting what
and
you are saying.
I want to say, Nazi Germany
Yes.
tried to, it was not like that. It is only men who are in war front.
Okay.
Women who are just left home to give birth to kids. They were saying that they want to increase the Aryan race of Germans. So
Okay.
women were encouraged to give birth to more kids. But it came to a point when the war became tough.
Kigen, you look very surprised.
Let me finish.
Very briefly,
Yes,
Said.
when war became tough, and Minister for Propaganda, Goebbels, and his colleague Speer decided to go to talk to Hitler, and so that they can be given permission so that women can participate in war, to work in industries, to steer ships, to even go to fight on fronts. And by the way, after that they were given permission because there was shortage of people to fight. Because men had been killed, majority of men had been killed.
That's very true.
So,
that is history, yes.
So
but before I come with my next question, no, it is news because it is making headlines in the 21st century. Yes, Kigen.
Said has given us fantastic history lessons back to the Nazi Germany and Hitler. But for me, I think this story has been cut out to be an inspiration to women and to the girl child. Because many people have the sort of stereotype or perception that the army, you know, it's more of masculine, you know, than feminine. But this is an inspiration that, you know, it can be done even for women, not just to men. And it's great, you know. I And I don't really think, with the kind of empowerment that we've come to for the girl child, and that we've come through with all the years, with everything that has been done, and all the people who fought for that cause. And now it's like we have a level playing field, that that it's being argued now that even the boy child is below the girl child in terms of empowerment. And I think particularly for the military, for them it's purely merit. Because if you look at it, she emerged one of the best cadets in the Navy, and she went to the Naval College in the UK, because she was one of the best. And also there, she also emerged one of the best. That's why she's a major right now. So for the military, it doesn't really matter whether you are male or female. If you are the best, if you're the best person to steer that ship, they don't care whether you are male or female. You are the best. You take the job. I mean, if you look at it honestly, Major Mwangangi is the best person who could steer that ship, and she just happens to be a female. So this is an inspiration to people that just work hard, put in everything that you can. Your gender is nothing.
I want to back my friend by saying, it is merit that matters. It is not whether you are a woman and a man. And I don't support this mantra that says that what man can do, a woman can do, or what a woman can do, a woman can do better. What matters is merit. If a woman has a passion in steering a warship, or even fighting with a jet, or even becoming an army, let that woman be. So we are looking at the merit. And as Keegan has said, I cannot even add to what as Keegan has said, because he has put it so well. As long there is merit, and of course she has proved to be the best, me don't have problem. Let her steer the warship. Okay, so can we say what a man can do, a woman can do? Because it was put in place because at that time, of course, a woman was seen as someone who just has to sit at home, cook, and look after the kids. That is rhetoric. Not every woman can steer a ship, or not every man can steer that ship. So we have different capabilities as human beings. But you see, sometimes women, we are treated differently. Men and women are treated differently. And people have to accept this. And people are attracted to different interests. For example, watching football. Many women don't watch football. Not because football is bad, or some watch, but many men are attracted to watching football more than women. The same case with even steering ship. There are some women who will develop interest in steering ship, but they might not be many. But also men. There are men who are not interested in steering ship. But you cannot say that, let me recruit 50% women in army and 50% men in army, because that will be the most useless army we have ever seen. But why? And why is that so sad? Do you know why? Why? Because you cannot force people to do what they don't like. I have just said, let's say ladies are passionate about it. Have you ever gone down onto the ground and found out?
Aisha, allow me to chime in into this conversation. Just a moment.
We have discarded the myth that women are being restricted to steer warships. This woman proved to be the best. Women want to politicize where there is no politics. This woman proved to be the best, and she was absorbed in the Navy. So if you prove to be the best, to be absorbed in the Navy. If you prove to be the best in because in any field to be absorbed.
It's like when you've driven in the phrase that what a man can do, a woman can do. It's like you've caused you've started a storm. For me, in as much as we are having this conversation, I think it's utterly important that we remember, and let's not forget, that there are those intrinsic roles and responsibilities that live in us. Okay. I'm sure Major Mwangangi, as one of the best, navies, intrinsically, she is also a mother. So there are those intrinsic roles and responsibilities that sit on us, and it's utterly important that we not lose them and stray away from them in as much as we engage in other activities. That is my take.
Very, very nice. And just on that, as a woman is getting empowered today, she has always been empowered. It's just us that came in with culture and, made her feel, you need to sit back, look after the children and whatnot. So now when you just mentioned about roles, yes, a woman is supposed to be a mother. Absolutely. I suppose that even cooking is supposed to be the woman's job if she's working like that.
As I have said, when it comes to cooking, for example, personally, they don't like cooking. So I married that woman who loves cooking. So we can complement each other. Okay. And it is everyone can decide if I love cooking. For example, if I love cooking, I can decide to marry any woman, even if she is not very good in cooking or she is insisting on sharing duties. But for me, personally, I'm not ready to share duties.
Said, in Islam, that is your personal opinion, which I really respect. Yes. But I would like to mention here, we are all Muslims here, and also to the non-Muslims in Islam, there is nowhere stipulated that a woman's job is to cook.
Me, not force her. I not marry the one. I just ask her, will you be cooking? Because
you're a very traditional man. Yes, Kigen.
I think Said has put it clearly, and I think if nikiongeza ntaribu, as Waswahili say, because he has said that if you clearly said, you've clearly put it, according to the religion, and as he has said that if my wife, if I know I don't like cooking, then I will choose a wife who loves cooking. If I love cooking, then I won't mind having a wife who doesn't love cooking if I love cooking. So for simply for the purpose of complementing each other. And I think that point is mashallah.
Yes.
I get where the two of you are coming from. So it is okay for a woman today, before she gets married, just as you want a woman who can cook, the woman can also say, I want a very rich man. Then you're the same men who sit and complain that women wanataka watu wa pesa.
No, I think if she wants a rich man, she should go ahead and marry a rich man. Me, I will not force her to marry me if I'm not rich. She'll go ahead. So this is about consent. You should do your homework in a good way, because you will be lied to by someone that maybe he has money and maybe that is not the case. So it is upon you doing your homework nicely. If you do it nicely and you bump to the man into a man who will fit you, that is okay. So I don't have.
I think everyone has the opinion and culture is there, yes. But if we follow proper Islam, then there are ways on how a couple can work together, because our Prophet, peace be upon him, was a perfect example of how he helped his wives, how he cooked, how he cleaned, how he even brushed his own shoes. And it reaches a point where these days, the men want a woman to do that. But again, culture, religion, but at the end of the day, the religion is the one that really plays the right part, and we should go back to our religion and find out,
And Aisha, I think most men will just think like me. You have seen Kigen has supported me. Majority of men, because I'm a leader.
You see, that's the problem. I know how men think. That's the problem. There is a difference between culture and religion.
But I understand, but
and upbringing.
It is sunnah.
That means
I'm a Muslim.
No, that means, Said, I'm sorry to interject, but that means today, your thinking today will bring up, children who think like you, and the generation will continue. But we need to stand up.
I don't understand where we've drawn this conversation between religion and culture, because simply we are drawing. He has drawn his argument simply from one of the cause of the religion, from consent, and also from, as he said, from consideration. You consider the other person, which is the basics. Hapana kulazimishwa katika dini, as it's stated. So I think that is where he's drawn his argument, which is okay. But again, allow me to interject. Allow me to interject. The Prophet said something that is very important. And that always and at all times, let's not forget, as Said always says, quoting the Prophet, let's enjoin wisdom in every matter.
Okay, I have a question. Today, let's say as a woman, I decide to get married. Let me use myself. Of course, it's not what I think, but I'll just put it as an example. What if I get married today and I say, you know what, when I give birth, I don't want to raise my children, and I also don't want to cook. Would you judge me? Like, would I look like someone who's bad, very irresponsible?
I told you I'll do my homework in a... Of course, I believe you're not a liar. I believe you're not a liar. I'll inquire about these things. I believe you're not a liar.
I'm giving an example.
I'll inquire these things. Unless you call me in information that you will give me before you marry. I'll inquire about these things before I marry you. I'll ask you, will you agree to cook? Will you agree to raise children? Will you agree to attend to house chores?
Okay, if I say no, you will not marry me.
Aisha.
I won't marry you.
Aisha.
Because
as you've asked,
I not consent to that marriage.
As you've asked, I mean, why, as you've given birth to those children, why would you not want to take care of them?
I will ask you the same question. As the father,
why do you hate your children? I mean, you've clearly said.
Keegan, I will ask you the same question. I will ask you the same question. As the father, why can't you stand up and help the mother to change the diapers?
I mean, it's the responsibility of both
Where
parents
is
to
it
take care of the kids.
stipulated that it's just a woman's job?
Playing in that house. And I
Like
not be
what?
demanding you. For example, for my wife, I not demand from her to take care of the costs that is involved in.
Amazing. You have just tapped into my topic of today. That is on the roundtable. Thank you so much for gracing this show. Now, over the years, the status of marriage is evolving, and comes the age where the woman is empowered and the man is empowered as always. Now it comes to the question of bills. Who is to pay and settle the bills? Should we go 50-50? Now stay tuned, as today the topic of discussion on the roundtable is finance in marriage.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show. Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith.
Kuna faida gani twapata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani.
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini, tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Kumfahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Ninasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam.
Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu aliyemfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
Thabbit qulubana ala dinik wa ala ta'atik.
Ungana na mashekh wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku. Horizon TV, kurunzi ya taifa.
The biggest consumer expo in East Africa, now on Thika Road Mall, TRM, on the 3rd floor. The Egypt and Middle East Expo from the 27th November till 9th of December 2019. Shop till you drop on various high-quality products such as furniture, carpets, kitchenware, leather products, handicrafts, clothes, furnishing, jewelry, perfumes, natural oils and herbs, and many more other products from Egypt, India, Iran, Pakistan, Turkey, Syria, and Singapore. Don't miss your chance to visit the Egypt and Middle East Expo from 27th November till the 9th of December 2019 at the Thika Road Mall, TRM on the 3rd floor. Open daily from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. and entry is absolutely free.
You're watching Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Post-Jew Education Center presents you with the opportunity to expand your knowledge base and professionalism by studying for a bachelor's degree, master's or PhD in Turkey. Come meet with various representatives from the Turkish University at Woodville Grove Reliance Center, 4th floor Westlands, Nairobi at no cost at all. Do the entry exam and wait for the chance to shine bright in your career. For more information, call us on 0704-581-850 in Nairobi or 0768-338-200 in Mombasa, and in Kisumu is 0720-059091. You can also reach us in Tanzania at +255-7159-66160. In Rwanda is +250-780-105-022, and in Uganda is +256-702-394-588. Post-Jew Education Center.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Mwacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on the Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show only on Horizon TV.
Kuna faida gani twapata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani.
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini, tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Ufahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV.
What are you and your family watching? Horizon TV, your premier Islamic TV station, bringing you the best in dawah, edutainment, inspiration, and more. Tune in now across Kenya as a free-to-air channel and on your preferred set-top box. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Is investing money in different companies like Coca-Cola, Nestle, etc. for profit and loss permissible or not? The one asking the question, brother or sister, I advise you not to invest in such companies. First and foremost, because by and large, these companies do invest and deal in haram. And it's not accepted to deal in a company that is dealing with haram. So my advice to you, and what the scholars, by and large, the mainstream of the scholars advises, it's not permissible for us to invest in such companies. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. If a person is wearing a job ID card with his picture, and the card is about 1 inch in size, and he stands next to us or behind us in salah, would it affect our salah? This is similar to the previous question. No, brother or sister, it would not affect your salah. It would not invalidate it. Affecting your salah means with regards and respect to invalidating it. It will not nullify your salah. But if it's affecting your salah with regards and respect to distraction and like a bit of withering away your attention and concentration, then that is actually a means of distracting one's salah and his concentration. And this is not a small sin. A lot of people come with flashy clothes or clothes with animate pictures, or clothes with jerseys, football jerseys people wearing. A lot of scholars do not advise this in salah, in particularly in salah. You have to wear decently so that you can concentrate fully in front of your Almighty. You're having a meeting and a spiritual chat with your Creator. It's a hotline, take it that way. So placing destructive objects or things and elements that will actually divert people's attention and the concentration, these are not accepted. And such a person should remove his job ID card and place it in his pocket, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. I asked my husband for a face wash, which he didn't get, and I swore upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I wouldn't talk to him. Do I have to give kafara? Basically, sister, this is quite a sensitive question, because obedience to your husband is compulsory. It's obligatory in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, لو كنت آمرا أحدا أن يسجد لأحد لأمرت الزوجة أن تسجد للزوج. The Prophet ﷺ explicitly said in this narration, if I was to ask anyone to prostrate in front of anyone, then I would have directed the wife to prostrate in front of the husband. Now this is a general hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, that reflects obedience to the husband in everything, only if it has to do with something against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you don't have to obey him. But in this case now, you asked him to get you a face wash, and he didn't do so, and you swore upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this was wrong. First and foremost, you have to repent for this. Number two, the Prophet ﷺ said something about oaths. He said, if anyone takes an oath upon something, then later on he or she deems otherwise to be better, something else to be better than upon which she or he took an oath, then the Prophet ﷺ directed such a person to do that what he deems to be better. So in this case, you have to take back your oath, meaning you have to do that what's better, that's talking to your husband back, and you have to give the kafara. And as I said, you have to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that, because that's regarded as a sin. Is life insurance allowed in Islam? Every kind of insurance is not acceptable in Islam. Be it life insurance, health insurance, even car insurance is not accepted in Islam. Why? Because it falls under the principle of the Prophet ﷺ in trading that is called gharar. Gharar is known as uncertainty, if you would translate it in English, so to speak. The basic translation of it is uncertainty. What happens in life insurances, health insurances, and car insurances is that you're paying for something you really don't know if it's going to happen. You're paying for an accident for them to recompensate for that particular accident, and you really don't know if you're going to enter into an accident. And for instance, if you're going to enter into an accident and they are going to pay back and recompense you for something greater than what you have paid, that's not acceptable. And this is why insurances are not accepted in Islam. With regards to Islamic insurance, because there are some companies outside there and corporates who deal with Islamic insurance. Now, this necessitates conditions. These are conditions stipulated by the scholars, and this is totally a different way how to go about insurance than the conventional method. Come to the question that then why should we, or why do we have car insurances on our car? Then the scholars say that this is due to concession. This is a concession given because we cannot place our cars on the road if we do not have an insurance. So just for the sake of that, with respect to that, the scholars say just buy or go for the list insurance that can place the car on the road, and that's a third party. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Wallahu a'lam.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful. Welcome to the round table with me, Aisha Khan. Of course, where we discuss very thorny and pertinent issues in our society. And of course, today is no exception. Now, over the years, the status of marriage is evolving. You find in the 21st century, the man is working, the woman is working, and the bone of contention comes in. Who is supposed to settle the bills? Now, today the topic of discussion is money matters in marriage. Are we supposed to go 50-50? Or should the woman pay? Should the man pay? Let's discuss about this. And to put things into perspective, I have with me Musa Mwale from Masla Mediation Center. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Musa.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Well, traditionally, let's begin first of all by appreciating that one, we are Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And a Muslim, as Muslims, we have the Quran that has specifically laid down all the mechanism on how we are supposed to live and relate in all aspects of life.
Mm-hmm.
And marriage is not excluded. Actually, it's very, very explicit in quite a number of verses in the Quran on how the couple is supposed to conduct themselves in terms of finances or resources within the family. And when we go to, for example, in Surah Al-Nisa 34, it says that men are the protectors and maintainers of the women, because Allah has blessed one with more strength, and Allah has blessed, and because he spends from his means onto his wife. And therefore, that tells us that the role of spending on the family is specifically for a man. And Rasul told us, or advised young people that, oh yeah, young people who have come of age, when you have the means, then go ahead and marry. And the means means that you have to have some economic capacity, not wealth, not richness or whatever, but some economic capacity to take care of an extra person in your house. And therefore, there's no excuse for people to say, well, it's 50-50. Yes.
Okay, now I'm just coming to that. Since it's so well stipulated, you still find that, you know, people are killing each other. They are fighting all the time because of money matters, you know, finance in marriage. So give us examples of what actually leads to this in marriages.
One, of course, we also told in Surah Al-Talaq that Allah tells us that whoever has the means should spend according to their means. And whoever his means is constrained should also spend within that means. So one, I think it's expectations. Expectations from maybe the wife or one of the spouses, and expectations from the man with constrained means, but then he wants either out of ignorance to please his wife or to please his in-laws, or maybe just out of boastfulness to show the world that, look, I can afford to take care of my family in this standard. So that causes conflict, because then when your means are constrained and you can't afford to lead a certain lifestyle, then you go into debt. But also from the lady's side, the sister side, maybe there's this expectation that this is the kind of life I need to live. Yet the means of the partner or the husband cannot support that kind of lifestyle. And that also constrains the relationship. And from the wife's side also, maybe the in-laws, they expect you to treat their daughter in a certain manner.
Okay.
To make her live a certain lifestyle. You know, maybe she came from a well-off family, and they expect you to continue maintaining that standard.
That
if
same
not,
lifestyle, yeah.
if not, raise it a bit.
Okay.
And your means cannot. So basically, that's what causes conflict.
Okay.
And then people start fighting over finances. And then if the lady is lucky enough to be working, then the man also starts expecting that she
Is it
also
right
has to-
for the man to expect from the wife that he's going to marry or that he's married to for her to contribute?
Already, as I mentioned in Surah Nisa, it has explicitly said that the man has to provide for his family. And therefore, there shouldn't be, for me, any expectations on spending. However, because Allah has blessed us into marriage, has blessed us to be together and blessed us with the mawadda and rahma, that we have to be, we love one another and we have mercy for one another. And therefore, with those two very critical components in marriage, you know that when you love one another, you support one another.
Of course.
You know, if you're walking together, the one who is slower, one who is faster waits for the one who is slower. And they have to keep pace so that you don't move very fast and leave your the other person behind. So that's what we are talking of in terms of marriage, that there shouldn't be any expectations on the side of a man. However, with that love and understanding and mercy, there should be an appreciation that you cannot let your partner carry a very heavy load alone. You have to appreciate that at some point they get tired, and therefore, once in a while, one can chip in. Whatever, of course, according to Islam, whatever the woman contributes, it's sadaqah.
Okay.
So she's not obligated to contribute, because whatever she contributes will just be sadaqah. It will be written for her. She will be rewarded for it. A man will also be rewarded for spending on his family, but it's his obligation.
Okay. So, Musa, since you said it is the obligation of the man, you find that in this day and age, the 21st century, there are many cases that before a man gets married to a woman, you know, he already stipulates that maybe I will do, you know, the rent, you do maybe the light and water or something like that. You know, where is all this mentality coming from? And yet the man can afford. It's not that he cannot afford.
I think that is an alien mentality, an alien culture to Islam.
Okay.
And it's because of the formation of society, the media, and what we see today, what is happening, that we have departed from our values and ethos, our Islamic values and ethos, and started going the secular or Western kind of lifestyle where bills are shared. I don't think there should be, as I stated, any expectation or any condition in terms of sharing bills. It is the responsibility of a man to provide within his means.
Okay.
And the discussion should be, I can afford this kind of lifestyle. If the lady is comfortable, well and good, they go ahead. If she's not comfortable and she feels she can chip in so that they have a different lifestyle, then that is her sadaqah. That is okay.
Okay.
But then the man should provide within his means. Yes.
Okay, so when and how should this conversation happen? Because you said there are a lot of expectations. So is it before marriage or in the marriage, or how can this be this conversation be stirred up?
It should basically be before marriage, and I know the way our system of marriage is structured.
Yeah.
It leaves very little room for that kind of negotiation.
Yeah.
But we know that before marriage, we have been trying to encourage premarital counseling.
Okay.
And during premarital counseling, that is that aspect of finances is really raised. It comes up. And therefore, the couple is supposed to actually talk about finances.
Okay.
And in finances, you're not only just talking about what you're going to share, but the burden, the financial burden that each of us is coming with. Maybe the lady went to school through a loan and she expects the loan to continue to be paid. Maybe the man has quite a lot of debt with him. You know, you borrowed left, right, and center to do the nikah or to do the wedding. You borrowed to go to school and all that, and you need to continue paying for that. So these are discussions that is supposed to take place so that when we are coming together, for a man, because his money is apparently our money in the family, is the family money.
Yeah.
He needs to be transparent and tell the partner that, look, we are coming into this union, but I have these financial obligations. And I will continue having them until this period of time when I will have cleared. So I need your understanding and your support. The support is not for you to give me money to pay off, but the support is to appreciate that I might not be able to contribute, to give us a certain lifestyle because I have financial obligations, besides the ones that I'm just about to assume in the marriage. Yes.
So Musa, there are some, when you're choosing a wife, there are certain qualities that you're allowed to choose. For example, the wife, one of the qualities you can choose is she can be rich.
Yes.
Now, how does that come into play when it comes to finances? Because you're marrying her, of course, for the money. So in that case, what happens?
Well, I think there is a misinterpretation or a misunderstanding of that aspect of one of the qualities is wealth. Yes, you marry the wife for her wealth or her family's wealth, hoping that they will either support you, and some families do, and some women have done, support their partner, maybe start up a business. Of course, they can lend you the money to start up a business and you can pay back so that you are able to take care of their daughter well, which is very good.
Yeah.
Or they can actually just give you as a grant or sadaqah on their part, a certain amount of money for you to start up life with. That is okay. But the aspect that I have seen lately where people are now taking advantage of that they come looking for wives, but then they tell you, I need a wife who is working and who has her own house and maybe has her own car. She's simply settled. I need that. That means that you don't want to take the responsibility to take care of your wife. One of, as I said earlier, one of the aspects that Rasul insisted is that if you have the means. So if you know you don't have the means, don't go into assuming that kind of responsibility. It's okay to get a wife who is working because it minimizes a lot of fitna when someone maybe sits around idle and they're not busy, and maybe the first year you don't have kids and they just sit in the house watching TV. Then there's a lot of fitna in terms of gossiping, due to that idleness. But then later in life, when you have kids, then she can be busy. But when you have a wife who is already working, then it's assumed that one of the advantages is that she will be working and she'll have no time to
look after the children.
To be, not just look after the children, to be idle and gossip and all that kind of stuff. But also, we know that in reality, even as partners, sometimes we fall sick. And you are in bed for a couple of months. And you are bedridden for a couple of months. You cannot work to bring home income. And maybe at that particular time, that's when you need a partner who has some income to step in and, help you. It's not their responsibility. They're just stepping in to help you like any other person would help you. Your siblings, your parents would help you. In this case, a wife is a much more closer person, a better placed person to be the one to help you, because
the husband.
They are not only helping you, but also their own children.
Yeah.
That for me is where I see maybe the advantage of people trying to look for a person who is economically stable, but not in the aspect of, or from the perspective of we will share bills. That is wrong.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Musa. Now we'll be taking a short break and we'll be right back. Remember, you can follow us on social media. That is at Horizontv Kenya on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Share with us, do you feel that it is okay for a woman and a man to contribute 50-50? Or do you feel it's the man's responsibility? Well, let's have a conversation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
La kutafakari.
Ahibati fillah, mwanadamu hatakani kumuonesha mtu mgonjwa kwamba amechoka naye. Yeye hakujitakia maradhi. Sawa awe ni mzazi wako, awe ni ndugu yako, awe ni mke wako, yeye mwenyewe hana raha kwamba ni mgonjwa. Kisha aja mtu aja kumuonesha kwamba wewe uko hivi, wewe uko hivi. Kwani ndio yeye alituma application kwa Mwenyezi Mungu akasema nataka kuwa mgonjwa? Tayari ana dhiki. Usiwe ni sababu ya kumuongezea maradhi na dhiki katika maisha yake. Sheitani tayari amtia waswasi, amuonesha kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu hakupendi, Mwenyezi Mungu amekutupa, si wewe ndio ulikuwa ukiswali, si wewe ndio ulikuwa ukitoa sadaka, leo Mwenyezi Mungu amekuacha patupu. Sheitani tayari yomshawishi. Kisha aja mwanadamu aja kumuonesha kwamba mimi nimechoka na wewe siwezi kukuhudumia. Ahibati fillah, ni khasara. Ni khasara iwe ni wewe ni chanzo cha kumsaidia sheitani amshinde ndugu yako nguvu.
La kutafakari.
Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn Hadith. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We learn the duas. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. We love a prophet. Abu Najma with kids. Abu Najma with kids. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Quran. We learn Hadith.
I'm a Muslim. If there is something wrong with that, then I stand condemned.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
My religion is Islam. I believe in Allah. I believe in Muhammad as the apostle of Allah. I believe in brotherhood of all men.
kuna faida gani twapata tukimjua Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
Nabii mwenye ushawishi mkubwa duniani.
Tukizikwa tukitiwa kaburini, tutaulizwa haya maswali matatu: man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk.
Sheikh Jamaluddin anakupa simulizi.
Huwezi kumpenda mtu usiyemjua
na kutambua sunna zake,
lakini ukimjua na ukimtambua Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mapenzi yako yatazidi.
Ufahamu Rasulullah, familia na maswahaba wake. Tazama sira ya Mtume kila Jumatatu saa 1 jioni kwenye Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Now we're coming to you live from the heart of the city center. This is Horizon TV, the premier Islamic station. And today the topic of discussion is money matters in marriage. Musa, coming back to you, you said the men have a lot of expectations from women. Now this conversation, when it's happening, how should it happen? Should the girl stand up for herself, or should her family be involved in this financial conversation? What really happens?
Well, I think the family... definitely, we are told that when a young man comes to you seeking your daughter's hand in marriage, inquire about their character and their deen.
Okay.
And among the issues within the character is to just know whether they are able to support your daughter, whether they have the means to support your daughter. And also, it's... maybe the way we've done it in the past, or families have done it in the past, is that they've not given enough opportunity to the lady who is going to be the wife to really speak for herself, or ask for herself, or bargain for herself certain aspects in marriage, especially when it comes to issues of finances. So I think there should be an opportunity, especially those who can. And we highly recommend people to go for premarital counseling. Those who go through that, they get an opportunity to share that and ask that information on finances and expectations.
Are Muslims generally open to premarital counseling? And how important is it?
Lately, yes. It is very, very important, because we tell people, you learn to ride a bike, you learn to drive, yet you might not own that car throughout your life. You go to school to be an accountant, you might not end up working as an accountant forever. Someone will open up businesses and they will forget about accountancy. But then marriage is a career that is lifelong, and we never invest a minute, to go through that. And therefore premarital counseling is part of that investment, that you invest a couple of hours for a couple of days to just learn about the expectations, the challenges, the ups and downs of marriages and all that. The dynamics in marriage. Through, of course, a professional. You are assisted by a professional. So in premarital counseling, people have an opportunity to bargain and ask questions of finances, and even assign them the specific roles in terms of expectations on finances. E.g. planning, joint planning, where to live, which schools kids should go to, so that you do not expect, not expect me to take our kids to
an international school,
banda school when I cannot maybe afford, when I can only afford a local academy or a public school, So we don't have to start fighting then. So at that particular moment, that's the time people are supposed to negotiate. Apart from parents being concerned of whether the young man is able to provide or not, you see, that is just short term. They might have all the money, but they are not maybe able to
manage.
To manage, we will go into
we'll
financial
get into
management.
that. Now, just on counseling, does this counseling just happen, premarital counseling, or is it an ongoing session, even in the marriage?
Counseling is supposed to continue throughout, but premarital counseling is crucial because it prepares. It prepares someone for the task ahead and for the issues and the challenges ahead, and arms them with skills on how to go around those issues when they emerge, or how to avoid certain issues before they emerge. So basically, premarital counseling is very, very crucial in terms of
and how long does it take?
Right now, of course, we have, through the Association of Muslim Professionals, counselors and psychologists, we're trying to come up with a standard form of premarital counseling. But basically, it's supposed to take about 4 or up to 6 sessions, and each session lasts between 2 and 3 hours. So you're talking of about between 12 and 18 hours of contact, in terms of premarital counseling.
Okay. So there's this notion in Islam which I highly respect is, when 2 people want to get married, the marriage has to happen very quickly. Now, if the marriage is happening very quickly, Musa, where do we get time for premarital counseling?
Thank you. I personally did raise that with the Chief Qadi when we were trying to lobby for mandatory premarital counseling. And of course, that aspect came up, like, okay, how do we go about it? And I did recommend that maybe before, people can get married, but before they're issued with the marriage certificate, they have to come with a letter showing that they have attended premarital counseling sessions. And therefore, they can do it before, or even the first weeks and first month of marriage, they can do that. If they have to go and get the marriage registered formally by the registrars or assistant registrar of marriages under the Qadi's court, because we have quite a number of divorce cases, and many divorce cases are as a result of people having not gone through premarital counseling. They were never prepared, so the expectations are overwhelming. They have been sitting there, they never shared the expectations. You thought things would work out automatically, and they're not working, and they have strained you to the level that you even don't want to think anymore. You just want out. But of course, marital counseling is supposed also to continue whenever you have issues and challenges. You are not able to communicate with your partner. People are advised to go through to a therapist, a marriage therapist, a qualified one, a professional one, who will help them manage the process.
So, Musa, let's get into the management of finances. How does it happen?
Well, I'll talk about five points in terms of management, financial management. First of all is appreciating that we have different financial personalities. And in personalities, I know my Sheikh Juma Amir is fond of talking about the types of men that you're not supposed to, one is not supposed to get married to, and one of them is the miserly, or the mean person.
The stingy one.
The stingy one. And we know that from one of the narrations of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Hind, the wife of Abu Sufyan, approached him and complained that Abu Sufyan was stingy and he was not giving them enough money to be able to manage the family. And therefore she was forced to be taking money without his consent from. And the Rasul said, yes, take only enough, that is enough to take care of you and the kids. And that has given leeway or the bargain or the notion that, okay, one, you're not supposed to be stingy. But if you are then stingy, then it's not bad for a wife to take out of your means, without your consent.
But how will she take? How will she take if you're holding your money?
Oh, of course, it's assumed that we all keep our monies somewhere in the lockers, in our jackets and all that. And when you take, if you find 10,000 shillings in my jacket and you take 1,000 to go buy food for the family.
Isn't that going to start some fights?
It is, but that's what we are saying as a Muslim.
It is your right.
These are, the narration is there to teach us something.
Okay.
You know, so coming back to financial personality, there are those, of course, in other terms we call them savers.
Yeah.
And there are those who are spenders.
Spendthrifts, yes.
Yes, and you need to know one another.
Okay.
And in a family, you hardly find in a family, in a couple, both of them are spenders, or both of them are, are savers. You find one who is a spender, and in spending, of course, we've been told we are supposed to spend in moderation. In Surah Talaq, not Talaq. I think it's Isra and Furqan. They tell us how to spend in moderation. That of course Allah loves those ones who are not who spend in moderation out of the means that He has blessed them with.
Yeah.
And therefore, if you know one another, weakness,
like your personality,
your personality. If you know I am a spendthrift, you can tell your partner, please, you have to help me out.
Yeah.
I know men who come home and say, this is what I have earned, please help us manage it. Because I know if I stay with it, I'll give every other relative who comes, every other friend who has a problem, I'll give it out. And people give money out and they forget their own family.
Wow.
So that's where now your wife come in and they help you manage the resources. But we also have women who also are spendthrift.
Of course.
And they like going for shopping and just buying very expensive stuff without thinking of, tomorrow, the rent, the school fees, the food and all that. And you're supposed to help one another in terms of that.
Now, Musa, before we progress, we have talked about stinginess, we have talked about being a spendthrift, and you find these things, they're hated in Islam. It's not something that's encouraged. Now, how can you, apart from telling your partner, and maybe your partner is not someone who wants to listen to you, very arrogant, how do you pass this message? And can this be, can they change? Is there room for change, or are you going to be wasting your time?
And that's why I've insisted that in premarital counseling, during premarital counseling, the lady, or before POSA or during POSA, the lady has an upper hand.
Oh, okay.
And she can lay conditions.
Oh, wow.
And because at that particular time you are equal. I don't know what goes wrong in a marriage, that you start off as equals, but then you end up as one being an underdog, and they cannot even talk to the husband, that they have to talk to the husband through the kids, to tell your daddy there is no this, we need to buy this, and it's not fair.
So it's that openness that, do you feel like sometimes the woman also puts herself low and does not put her conditions on the table?
Yes, I think so. I think people are supposed to agree from the beginning. Even in terms of communication, that let's have an open communication. And we encouraged as Muslims to have shura. Before we make decisions that impact on the family, we're supposed to sit together and just discuss. We need to move to this other neighborhood, there's school, there's there's this and that. The implications.
So there needs to be a lot of communication.
So there needs to be a lot of communication. And for us, when we are doing premarital counseling, we ask about what are your weaknesses and what are your strengths. And in that, someone can say in terms of, I am a spendthrift. I'm too generous. How can my partner help me? Control me in terms of family resources.
Amazing.
So that's one. There is also there are four other aspects.
The three others, Musa, will be coming to them. We need to take a short break.
Okay.
So we'll be taking a short break and we'll be right back. Now remember, today's topic of discussion is money matters in marriage. Now, should we go 50-50 or should we pay or should we be stingy? What needs to be done? Now you can contribute to this conversation. That is at Horizontv Kenya on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
La kutafakari.
Wale watu wanaoonyesha uzuri wao katika vifaa na mambo mbalimbali, katika vifaa vya simu mbalimbali, watu wanaonyesha uzuri pale. Batal alladhi yudhhir أو تلك المرأة التي تظهر زينتها في مثل هذه الوسائل, yule mwanamke anayepeleka na kusambaza uzuri wake na maumbile yake katika vifaa kama hivi, mbali na kwamba ni haram, huyo mwanamke ni batal, jobless, hana kazi, hajui lengo la maisha ni nini. Wale wanaume wanaofanya mambo ya upuzi kama haya na kutafuta mambo ya upuzi kama haya katika Snapchat na katika Instagram na katika wapi na aingie kwenye Facebook masaa 2, 3, 4, hadha batal, jobless, hana kazi, hajui lengo la maisha, kuna lengo gani katika maisha, hajui kuna kusimama mbele ya baina yada ila azza wa jalla, hajui kuna kuingia katika kaburi, hajui kabla ya hapo kuna malakul maut, hajui kuna mizani.
La kutafakari.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Of course, a very interesting conversation going on. We are in the last segment and today the topic of discussion is money matters in marriage. Musa, coming back to you, you talked about the stingy one, the spendthrift. I have one question before we continue. Is it that people don't know their rights? Is it that our our men in society are not mentored? Because you find that the girl is really, taken through a process ever since she's small. You just, get your periods next, you're taught how to cook, you're taught how to do this, and every time you're threatened, if you don't do this, how will you be a nice wife? What happens? Is there a problem that our men are not also mentored?
Yeah, thank you for bringing up that. We've been complaining that there's too much empowerment on the side of women.
Yeah.
And there's less empowerment on the side of men, and that's why we also have this problem. That when you have a son and a daughter, let's say Mariam and Yusuf, when they come from school, you tell Mariam, put your bag down, go to the kitchen, help, wash dishes and all that kind of stuff. But then you tell Yusuf, do not disturb us, go out there and play.
That's the thing.
So you're already telling them that you're not teaching them to be responsible.
Yeah.
While you are teaching
your daughter to be... You've already divided the roles and taught them.
You are teaching your daughter to be responsible.
Yeah.
But you're not teaching your son to be responsible. Then when he gets married, he knows that everything has to be done for me. My work is to go out there and watch football and all that. or my work is just to bring home money, and that is it. You know, it's of course it goes beyond that. So that's one. Two, yes, and I said we don't invest in marriage. We don't invest in understanding a marriage. Yet it's the biggest and longest career that we have. So people don't know their rights. They don't strive to learn about the rights and the responsibilities that Allah has given each of us as a husband, as a wife, as a mother, as a father, you know, as an in-law. We don't.
Okay.
Yet they are quite stipulated, very well stipulated in the Quran and Hadith. And our brothers also don't strive to empower their wives in terms of, these are your rights. I'm human. I might miss out on providing or ensuring that you get all of them. Kindly remind me. And these are your obligations.
But you see, Musa, that's where when they see that you don't know much, that's where they want to take advantage of you. That's where the problem comes in.
But that's dhulma. That's dhulma.
So again, you need to find a partner, I think, who has rahma in him for both of you to understand each other. So moving on to the next three that are remaining.
Yeah, okay. One is that when it comes to financial management, there are those, what we call in terms of spending, there are those ones who, there's the hidden spenders, people who spend money and they don't want their partners to know that they are spending.
These are the men now?
Both.
Okay, both. Okay.
The lady, of course, her money is her money.
Yeah.
But then if it's family money, if it's what I've brought home, and you are spending without letting me know, you, of course, you have to give your partner leeway. If you're giving them, you know, 2,000, or, you know, to spend, let's say, in 3, 4, 5 days, or even in a week, you know, you can give them leeway in terms of whatever remains out of what you have bought, you know, 500, 200, 300 shillings. Well, you can do whatever you want with it. But then there are those people maybe who are either putting up investments with your money, they're not telling you, they're investing back in their homes, they are educating their siblings, they are, you know.
With your money.
Yes, and they're not telling you.
Right.
The man is also doing certain things, you know, and they're not sharing this. And there's also, the other aspect is debts, that we incur debts that we don't tell our partners. And then the next thing is either we see auctioneers coming or people coming to make noise, you know, at home, and oh, you owe me money, you owe this much, you know, and out of embarrassment, you know, you don't want, if it's your wife, you just say, okay, I'll pay for her. Or even if it's a husband, you say, okay, you see a husband is being taken to prison, you know, by the police because he owed this person money and he never told you. I know of cases where a sister has to bail the husband so many times because of debts, because he took debts to invest in businesses,
and he did not tell her.
And he did not tell her.
Okay, so
and
there should
she's
be
like,
openness.
okay, can you just now tell me how much you owe people and who you owe out there, so that
so I can
we
plan
deal with
myself,
this once and for all. And it's vice versa, you know, it goes both for men and women. And also the financial inequalities, and this comes especially with our sisters. I saw a video circulating the other day, a sister complaining that they are now working and helping as men, and we don't appreciate that. There are sisters who earn more than their
yes,
partners.
that's another bone of contention now. Musa, what if there's a husband and wife and the wife is earning more than a man? What happens?
Well, we just go back to the ayah. That men are the providers, and that they provide within their means. But you see now, some of our sisters take advantage because they are earning more, because they're able to afford to provide better things within the family. They want to take control, and they want.
So now they're demeaning the man and showing him that you're nothing.
And with that, the man starts showing, the ego in him starts showing up, and like, I am the man, I am this, I'm even going to stop you to go to work, you know, all that kind of stuff. So this is the challenge. Not that men don't want their women to work, but there is also that fear that if she gets too much money, she will, I cannot control her anymore.
Yeah.
And also, in terms of spending, there's also spending on family.
Yeah.
How much do we have to agree.
Yeah.
How much do we spend on our extended families, on our relatives?
Yes.
If you are earning 100,000 shillings,
Yeah.
would you want to spend 50,000 on your family and leave 50,000 on your nucleus family?
Okay, so that is for the man.
I mean, that's for the man, both. So this issue, even both, we have seen cases where a sister has now brought all her family
in her marital home,
problems and financial needs in her marital home.
For the husband to handle.
My siblings have to be educated. My mom has to go to hospital and you have to pay, and all this because you are.
So now that's a burden that if he's not willing to bear.
Not willing, but he's not able to. Because it's going to affect it's going to affect your children.
It's true.
Because if you have 100,000 and you have 60,000 going to the extended family, you remain with 40. What will it do? You need to pay rent, you need to pay bills, you need to eat, you need all that.
So here comes in where the woman needs to be understanding and know that he is to provide for her and not for her whole family.
And also the man to appreciate that he has a family, a nucleus family. He has a wife and kids. And he has siblings, yes, to take care of. And whatever the relatives, but there has to be a limit in terms of how much money do we spend on relatives and friends.
Family.
You know. And then the elephant in the room for me, I have seen is the joint investment.
I was just coming to that. Thank you so much for bringing that now.
Yes. This has caused a lot of conflict. People have come together, they have invested together, they have built, properties together. And then maybe a brother reaches a point where he wants to bring in another sister, a second wife.
Because now they're built.
And when they start, when the sister starts protesting, no, you cannot do this.
We built together.
She can pack and go. But so then
what happens?
You took a loan, build the house on my property, on my land. So I own the title.
Oh, wow.
So essentially that house now belongs to me, legally. And I have at Maslaha Mediation Center, we have handled, and we're still handling cases. Some are even in court on issues of matrimonial property. People have even gone to court and filed for divorce because the husband is not willing to share.
So what is the solution? What is the quick solution to this?
Simple.
So what should I, like before I get into a joint account with my husband, what should I do to make sure that when he wants another woman, or maybe when because we always blame the man, even the woman, maybe she wants another man or whatever, she wants to get out of the marriage. What should we do such that both parties, we are not going to have this problem?
One, having a joint account for the sake of the family, it's good. Because it controls your expenditures. And having joint investment is good, but it has to be within law and stipulated that you own this percentage in terms of ownership. But I would encourage people to invest separately because it also complicates inheritance. You have a different set of inheritors. The man has a different set of inheritors. And in the absence of one of you, or both of you, people, some will not get what they deserve, and others will get what they don't deserve. So that's dhulma. So it complicates inheritance.
So we should just save on our own.
People should try to invest separately, so that if you're not there, we know that your investment, part of your inheritors are your husband, your children, your mom and dad, and all that kind of stuff. Because if we have joint investment, and it's not stipulated in terms of who owns what, and one partner is not there, and both partners are not there, and it comes to inheritance, where does that leave us in terms of our heirs? My parents, your parents, our kids, or my kids with another wife, where does it leave the whole equation?
Okay.
So it is advisable. I do advocate that people invest separately.
Okay,
But
what if
then-
Musa, your husband has a land? Because I'm just getting a question here from Mariam. She's saying that my husband, you know, owns a land and I have loan money, and now, you know, that's supportive. You said that we need to support each other.
Yes.
She goes and builds a house on that land. What happens?
Let them agree
Yeah.
do evaluation of the land
Okay.
and the money she's putting in,
Yeah.
and agree in terms of shareholding
Okay.
that each of them own a certain percentage
Okay.
of that property.
So she needs to be smart here.
It's not even just her being smart.
Yeah.
Even the brother needs to protect himself
It's
in terms
true.
of his heirs.
Yeah.
Because what happens if Mariam is not there,
Yeah.
and he has taken another wife,
Yeah.
and then he also is not there,
Yeah.
and there are these two sets of children from from two wives,
Yeah.
and they have to inherit. They will inherit
It will be a problem.
Mariam's, you know,
They
kids' share.
will really be fighting. Now,
Yeah.
before we end this show, Musa, I have a very interesting, you know, we said that if both parties contribute, they're still fighting. But what if you as a man, you know, you married this woman very young, let's say at the age of 17, 18, she came to you very innocently, and you have lots and lots of properties. Then when she gives birth, you know, you're like, I need a second wife now. And of course, she will not be comfortable with it if she's providing everything for you. Now, can that woman claim anything from that marriage? Because it's very unfair. She got married very young to you. You provided every single thing to her, and today you're deciding, I don't want you anymore. Can she claim anything?
Well, that's a Sharia issue that quite a number of scholars have expressed different opinion in terms of what the wife is entitled to.
Yeah.
Because she was there, she gave you that comfort for you to be able to amass the wealth that you amassed. And therefore, some have argued that she's entitled to a certain percentage.
Is it written anywhere?
It's not,
Okay.
but there has been some practice in some countries where
Okay.
she has been, a lady or a wife has been given a certain portion of the wealth
Yeah.
by virtue of having provided that sakina, that nice environment for you to be able to work and get and earn. But basically, as that's if there is divorce. But if there's no divorce and there's death, she's part of the inheritors.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. The problem only comes in when there's divorce, and we all just have to be good Muslims and be human and appreciate that this person has given me some level of comfort, even if we have come to a point where we've disagreed on certain aspects, but she gave you or he gave you some level of comfort that enabled you be where you are or get what you got.
Okay.
And therefore, it's just fair enough that these are things that are not supposed to be arbitrated in court.
Okay.
You know, people are supposed to think for themselves and just say, I give you, as a token of appreciation, this. You know, I know people don't
But
do
again,
that.
that is somebody's heart.
I know people
again.
don't do that. That's where we have problems. When you have invested, we have joint investment, and we are now going to court because we cannot agree on, I cannot agree on how much you put in.
Yeah.
I mean, and yet I tell couples, between the two of you and Allah, you know what you contributed.
That's true.
So just be fair enough and just say, I know she contributed 50% or 40%, and I am willing to give her that. But there are men who will tell you, let her prove that she actually contributed to this
When he
property.
knows the
And
truth.
if she has proof, I will give her. And you know, she took money from chamas, you know, from here and there, borrowed from her family, and gave you for you to complete that construction of that matrimonial home or that commercial property that you have. Honestly. I mean, it's just a matter of people being fair and being Muslims and just saying, I cannot eat haram. This does not belong to me. Why is it that when you are in a bus and you are given extra change, you will gladly give back to the conductor the extra money?
Yet
or
this
when
is
in
your
the shop.
spouse.
Yet this is your spouse.
Yeah.
We are told that we are supposed to be the best, you know, to our families.
Yeah.
Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that the best among you is the one who is good to his family.
Yeah. So Musa, from what I'm getting from you from this conversation is it is fair enough to have an agreement in place before you get into any investments.
It is fair enough.
Okay.
It's legal.
Okay.
For that, not because you don't trust each other.
Yes, because the trust issue will come in if you have a spouse.
For me, I say it's not the trust, it's not the love.
Okay.
It's the protection of your inheritors.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Because
So
anything can happen.
Anything
Life is
can happen
unpredictable.
anytime. So you need to do it separately.
Yeah.
But if you trust yourself,
Yeah.
if you know that Shaitan will not take a better part of me, and I will be fair enough to my partner,
then that's your choice.
that's your choice. That's okay.
Okay.
And if one says, if he wants to take everything, ni shauri yake. You know, that is
Allah
the biggest
namuona.
burden. That is the biggest burden someone has placed on you.
Yeah.
You know, ati Allah namuona. So, but for me, I would encourage that either you invest separately or you have agreements, you know, written down that
Yeah.
we own this kind of
Yeah.
percentage in this investment. Of course, you can leave it to the will. I mean, if you know your partner for many years and you know they can be anything but not fraudsters,
Yeah.
well and good.
Then you just trust them and believe in God that nothing will go wrong. So before we end this show, I have a last question very briefly. Is marriage being for both of you, you know, you both have the same goals, and this is particularly, I'll put it for the women. In as much as you said it is the right and obligation of the man to contribute. For example, maybe I'm at home and I'm cooking and the gas goes, you know, and he's been paying for everything. Now, is it wrong for the woman, you know, to just pay for it? Or does she have to keep running after her husband all the time and say, oh, there's no this, there's no that? Is it okay for her to pay?
That's where Rahma comes in.
Okay.
That as partners, you support each other.
Yeah.
We know as men, we go home and we find a lot of things have been done.
Yeah.
Yet maybe we did not leave enough money for those things to be done.
Yeah.
And that increases the love.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that my partner is able, or my wife is able to do certain things without waiting for me,
Yeah.
it increases that kind of love.
Okay.
And
So the man even feels appreciated that she is trying to make an effort.
To support him.
Okay.
And therefore he will also try to spend without even asking. You know, not every time you have to ask the budget. Give me the budget of this
Yeah.
month. I will only give you exactly what you have.
Yeah.
No, because we cannot afford it.
It's true.
It's very expensive, you know.
Mhm.
So we appreciate that our sisters also do a lot, but they should also not be mean in terms of, oh, the man is supposed to provide. I'll not even give a dime
Yeah.
when the gas goes off,
Yeah.
when electricity is
Just
disconnected.
because it's his
just because it's
responsibility,
his
I'll leave it at
responsibility.
that.
No.
Okay.
It's a journey for both,
And it's a compromise.
and they are supposed to help one another.
Yeah.
The way they will help one another when one is not feeling well,
Yeah.
when one is sick,
Yeah.
they're supposed to help one another, even in terms of domestic expenditures and all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Musa, for making time here today. And we hope that you will
Welcome.
save many marriages out there for going into financial
Inshallah,
disputes.
inshallah.
So thank you so much for tuning into the Roundtable. As always, I have my perspective. And today, my inspiration has been drawn from Ustada Arafa. She says, honey, 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 money, money, money. There is no romance without finance. I've been your host, Aisha Khan, and this has been the Roundtable.
Assalamu alaikum. Let's brighten up your morning. I am Aisha Khan, and you're watching the Sabah Show.
Only on Horizon TV.
Bye.